Working at a game store, I've noticed that people usually buy a console based on a few basic questions. Do their friends have it? Can it play movies? Is it backwards compatible? But one question is always the deciding factor. What are the exclusives? Now this can really sell a console immediately for consumers. For example, someone will buy a Nintendo Switch because they want to play games like Mario, Kirby, Zelda, Smash Brothers, all amazing games only on Nintendo consoles. Personally, it's pretty easy for me to recommend a PlayStation because of the great exclusives.
This isn't even just for PS4, I'm talking all PlayStation consoles. If you're looking for a kid's game, you can grab Little Big Planet, Ratchet & Clank, fucking Knack even. If you're looking for more action games, you can snag Uncharted, Infamous, Horizon Zero Dawn, Spider-Man. Even for mature games, we have God of War, Days Gone, Bloodborne, Until Dawn, the list goes on. Now PlayStation is known for having some amazing exclusives. You know you're in for a treat when you see that only on PlayStation label at the top of the box. But they weren't always like that. When it comes to PlayStation exclusives, you got your action games, story games, platforming games, short games, long games. They're all extremely popular and sell very well. But they're not all good. There was a time where Sony would just smack their logo on any project and say,
"It's worth it, I swear!"
So the weird exclusives we're going to be looking at today are going to be any game that has this or this. These markings mean Sony was proud to display that it was only on their hardware. This is the reason you should buy a PS4. Now you know me, when I think quality, I think Lair. Yes, Lair is the one Sony exclusive game everyone remembers as the one bad exclusive, but don't worry, there's more. But going back to Lair, oh god, for those of you who don't know, Lair was one of the PlayStation games that showed some of the features that the PS3 could do at the time. And by some, I mean one. The goddamn 6-axis. This was the gyroscope inside of the PS3 controller. Instead of controlling the dragon with the sticks, you tilt the controller. This, as you can imagine, forced the player to do the most asinine things for every action imaginable. Coming from the studio who made the incredible Rogue Squadron for the GameCube, Factor 5 kind of rubbed more salt in the wound. The reception and sales for this game were so bad that this was the last project Factor 5 ever completed before canceling a bunch of other major projects and fizzling out of the mainstream media. Thanks, Sony! Okay, well, maybe you don't want a fantasy action game like Lair. What if you just want to, I don't know, race around with some friends? Maybe create a track with all sorts of wacky features with a pick up and play mentality? That's right, I'm talking about Little Bit Mod Nation Racers. You guys remember this? Because when I saw this on my shelf, I kind of had a fight or flight reaction. Mod Nation Racers was an attempt for Sony to have something, I guess, to compete with Mario Kart, even though 2 years later they did the same exact thing with Little Big Planet, which was developed by the same people that did Mod Nation Racers with the same track creator, so why not just have it be Little Big Planet? Regardless, Mod Nation Racers is just a Mario Kart clone with the aesthetic of the kid robot toys. But the main draw for this game over Mario Kart was that you could create your own track. But not just your own track, your own character in karts too. The character and kart customizer is fine, but the track creator is where it's at. You can do all kinds of stuff in this, and you can even have it autocomplete stuff if you just don't want to place everything by hand. Check it, I made City Escape from Sonic Adventure 2. So after that, you could share it online and have people download it and check it out. Just not now, because Sony did shut the servers down for this game and many other games a few years ago, which is a huge shame because we just lost access to millions of amazing tracks. Speaking of online, let's get away from the kiddie nonsense! You wanna play a real game for men? Yeah, how's this sound? Online first-person shooter with 256 players predating the modern-day battle royale genre by over 10 years! You know what you need? MAG. What's that stand for? Massive Action Game! Fuck! That's right! Just you against everyone else! It got shut down. Yeah, this is still a major problem with the upcoming digital age. If it's not a game getting delisted from online stores, it's an entire game being rendered useless. MAG was Sony's online-only game for the PS3 that really did something unique at the time, and from what I've gathered, people really did like this game when it was in its prime. It looked to be a solid online shooter with good controls and a healthy lobby. It'd be cool to see this brought back to life somehow, but with games like Fortnite, PUBG, and Apex, I don't think it'd have a chance nowadays. games. Now, what we just discussed were examples of games greenlit and funded as Sony IPs. What about exclusive games that Sony doesn't own? Yeah, this is where things get a little odd. See, back in the day, Disney and PlayStation were really buddy-buddy with some stuff. If you had a PS1 back in the day, then you probably had the Monsters Inc. game. This is actually a pretty impressive little PS1 game. It's just a 3D platformer where you go around collecting ooze and try to scare robot children. The animations have some nice squash and stretch, the controls are good, and the music's pretty good. Not only this, but Sony also ordered a PS2 version that's just a port of this game, but with a graphical overhaul to it. You don't really see that for this generation of games. Usually they'll hire another team to develop a separate version, but nope, they actually went through the effort of converting it all. I really do like this game and actually recommend you guys go check it out if you want a charming little platformer. It is really impressive. But let's jump away from impressive and go straight to what happened. Stitch for the PS2. Playing this game put me into a permanent state of genuine fear. I legitimately did not know if I was going to be okay after watching these cutscenes. The animations are so jerky, everything's clipping into everything. I honestly thought that I was watching some sort of weird Elsagate video or something. I wasn't expecting such a low level of quality coming from another Disney game. It looks so just unfinished. Like, this is what you'd show the team as a storyboard or something. Playing the game is a whole nother thing. This is the most bare bones 3D platformer I think I have ever played in my life. There is really nothing to it. Each level you collect DNA to unlock the next level. That's it. All you have to do is fight with these god-awful controls. You can't freely move the camera when moving around. If you move the camera at all, it automatically goes back to behind you the moment you let it go. Not to mention the fact that it's permanently inverted. The only way to get the camera to view something else is to move in that direction and stop so it can recenter in that direction. With years of experience with PlayStation games that were really high quality, it's so bizarre putting this game next to those that have the same proud Sony logo on the front. I don't know what happened, but don't worry, we're not done with Stitch, because this is technically the second Stitch game Sony published. The first one was Lilo and Stitch for the PS1, and this game it's Crash. It's just Crash. It's literally Crash Bandicoot. And it's not even trying to hide it. Ah yes, the classic Lilo and Stitch death plan. My favorite villain from the movie. I mean, I guess you could say technically it's better than the PS2 game because this is directly copying a far superior game. But don't get me wrong, both are bad. Sony also published this game for the Vita, but it's fine because it's on the Vita, so okay, no more Disney. Now, later in the PS3's life cycle, Sony began paying third parties so they would put the Only on PlayStation label on their games. This just meant that it usually would offer a bonus mission or an extra content only found on the PlayStation version, as opposed to the other ones. Sometimes you'd get some map packs early, some bonus missions, exclusive characters for fighting games, an entire game mode exclusive to PlayStation for a year. The most popular thing is playing as the Joker in Batman Arkham Asylum, and as far as I can remember, that's still only on PlayStation. A lot of really cool stuff in general. And sometimes you'd get fucking the PlayStation Move, Sony's response to the entirety of the Wii. Now let's start with a hot take. This PlayStation Move controller is way better than the Wii Remote. The Move controllers are mainly used for PS4 VR games now, but on the PS3, you'd use this and the navigation controller as basically the Wii Remote and nunchuck. Basically, you connect this bad boy, the squishy ball on the top would glow, and you'd point it at your PS3 camera. Sony really did try to support this as much as possible by any means necessary. Look at this. What am I gonna do here? It's like the Wii, but with better graphics. Now, to be fair, the Wii had a big leg up over PlayStation by having games, but don't get me wrong, these games were fine, but I don't see Wii Sports on this thing. You know what I do see? Yes, iPet. I guess it was trying to cash in on the Nintendogs craze or something. It's just a game where you take care of this monkey dog thing with the Move controllers. It does a good job at finding neat ways to use the controller, but I really don't want to be seen in the same room as this thing. Now, there's actually another type of PlayStation exclusive that we haven't discussed yet, and those are fake ones. Yeah, in the midst of writing this script, oddly enough, we got this traded in at the store that I work in. I've never seen this before, and after doing some research, only one other person has come across this misprint, as far as I can tell. My first thought was that it may have been a timed exclusive, but this is a movie license game that's also by a multi-platform company, so that doesn't make any sense. Plus, the Insane Trilogy was a timed exclusive, but it didn't have this label at the top. At the time, the Lego Movie game came out on every console under the sun, so it definitely didn't have any sort of exclusivity with any PlayStation console, so what's up? This is simply just a misprint, and a misprint that I can't find any information on. Apparently Thief on the PS4 also had this misprint, but other than that, nothing. These types of things are always fun to find. I actually have the misprint of the Sonic Heroes manual where it says Sonic's 8 years old. So this game at the time of this video goes for about $10 on the used game market. So if you're a collector, I'd search around for some used game stores to see if you can find any more of these misprints. I'd love to see how rare this guy is. Now, one thing that's always confused me to this day is how Sony messed this up. So, Spider-Man's movie rights are owned by Sony, right? Meaning Sony makes profit off of the Spider-Man movies and merchandise. Well, back then anyway. The video games are considered merch, so even though they were all multi-platform, Sony still made some cash off of them. So please tell me why it was decided that the one exclusive Kraven mission for the first Spider-Man game came on the Xbox. I grew up with the PS2 version, like almost everyone else did, and I never knew this existed until like last year. Did Sony just not care? Weird tangent aside, PlayStation has some oddball games. I know there's plenty more that I haven't talked about yet, so please let me know in the comments below what's your favorite oddball PlayStation game. And with that said, I'll see you all in the next video.